Good morning and welcome to the Paul Green Comedy Podcast. It is May 17th, 2024. This is episode 170 of the podcast. Well, I will tell you what, friends. This has been one of the most stressful few days I can recall experiencing in a very long time. And, this is a podcast about pursuing dreams, going for what you want in life, dealing with all the ups and downs. And sometimes just these weird things will come into your life that, at least in my experience, that are just so out of the blue, so unexpected, and yet they just can completely derail what you have going on. And I'm having a bit of an experience akin to that. Now, I shouldn't be totally sky is falling and catastrophizing here, because I know that there are significantly worse things that can happen in people's lives. And so I'm not trying to trivialize life-altering events. But those of you who follow the podcast know that last night I agreed to help a buddy with his website, and in so doing, ended up crashing it in just a manner that I never anticipated, or have never experienced such a drastic website crashing. And I've been in tech to a kind of a different area of tech for about the last 10 years, and I've dealt with tons of websites. I've built websites from scratch. I manage my own website. I've helped tons of clients connect their websites to CRMs and to automations and to emails and to texting. And so, although I don't deal with like websites, like the deep underbelly of websites on a regular basis, I have some pretty decent experience with them. And so, when this website crashed, first of all, I was just really sort of shocked that the website was as fragile as it was, especially because what I was trying to do was something very simple. And now, almost 30 hours later, I have been pretty much nonstop. I was up till about 6 a.m. yesterday, online with somebody who I had hired off of Upwork to help recover the site, which he was able to recover the site more or less. However, the site was still experiencing all of these weird glitches. There was glitches with the backend editor. There was glitches with the e-commerce side to trying to where people could purchase tickets. There was issues with the formatting of how the web pages were formatting. So at about 6 a.m, I tried to get some sleep. I slept for I had a meeting in 2 hours, so I slept for about 2 hours, did the meeting, and then I slept for about another 2 hours as well. And then woke up and then was still just dealing with problems and had to get another programmer, because the programmer we were using, he was like in Pakistan. And this thing has just turned into this albatross of an issue. And it's so beyond my direct capacity to resolve. And and it's just put me in a very difficult and stressful situation, which I don't really know how to directly resolve. I'm sort of at the mercy of these contractors that I am hiring off of Upwork, who all seem very competent and confident in their capacity to resolve these issues. And throughout the day yesterday, we were seeing some progress. We had somebody in there who would be able to get the website formatted properly, but then for some reason it would revert, or it would look good on mobile but not on desktop. And then everything was looking good, but then when somebody actually went to try to buy a ticket, we tried to test the ticketing link. You would get to the last phase, and then it would say invalid product ID. And we're like, why the heck are there not product IDs? Why did those not get recovered? And so then I had somebody else go in and recover the product IDs. And then there was a brief moment where you can actually buy a ticket. And then right about that time, I had to leave. I was hanging out at my friend's house all day. And then they had to go because it's getting the evening time. I had to go. And then, although for the most part, everything was working, all of the pages just crashed again. And I have no idea why. And nobody knows why. And I can't figure out why. And I had to go hire a third person to try to look at this, who seemed confident that they could get it done, because the other two people were in different time zones and were sleeping, or, they had to go. And I've now barely slept in almost 2 days, and this issue isn't resolved. And it was pretty much all my fault. Well-intentioned, but I still did it, and I just feel this tremendous weight and responsibility and embarrassment that this all happened and is happening, and I've now put my friends in a very difficult, frustrating position, and they've been tremendously gracious, by the way, but it's still not resolved, and it's just been a very frustrating couple of days. And the last thing on my mind has been, well, how do I pursue my goals as a comedian? And I've got 2 comedy shows tonight, ironically enough, for the very club who is owned by the friend whose website I've crashed. So people right now would not be able to buy tickets to the very shows that I would be performing in tonight. So yeah, it's just, man, it is just been a beast of a couple of days, and I'm just so shocked that this series of events has unfolded this way, and what to do about it, and how I can resolve it and take ownership of it. And I'll tell you, it has been a beast of a day. And I don't really know how to process all of this yet. One of the challenges of doing this podcast daily is, I'm in the weeds, and I'm going through life in real time, and I have these big goals and I have these big dreams, but these sort of just weird life things will happen that can pull focus and can derail and take energy and time and emotion and processing. And I think that is just an important element that maybe I'm not as considerate of, while I'm sharing my journey and sharing my path, and I'm in essence putting a message out there to everybody saying, hey, go for it. Follow your passion, follow your heart, put it out there, see what happens. And the flip side of that is, man, life can be so hard and so frustrating, and can just the basic management of getting through a day can sometimes just be so difficult. Now, this situation is something that I created and I brought upon myself, and that's not even to speak of things outside of our control, like my friends who had somebody come over and was like, oh yeah, I can help you with your website, and then ended up crashing it for them. So, and that was all under good faith and well-intentioned, and, they've been incredibly gracious. They haven't been, like, mad at me, at least not to my face. Who knows what they're thinking and feeling underneath it all. So, anyway, I do think that is something important to just point out, that, man, sometimes life can really be frustrating, and things need to be dealt with, and things need to be managed. And I think it is important to realize that is okay. Sometimes, every day, and maybe rarely, is every day going to play out the way that maybe we had intended, or that we had hoped, or that we had engaged in with good faith, and hoping that, this day it's just going to go as planned and be great, and everything's going to be fantastic. It's like, yeah, sometimes that is just not so. So it is about 2 a.m. here, and I got a little bit of a nap there for about maybe an hour, but then I kind of woke up in a kind of a stress, sort of anxiety, like, okay, what's going on? Have I heard anything? And I hadn't heard anything, which was troubling, from the other guy that I hired, who said he was looking into it. And so I've been reaching out to some of the other people who I've had working on it, just to keep focus on this issue until somebody can get in and figure out what in the heck is going on with this website, why it's continually crashing, why it isn't operating how it was just 2 days ago, when, although it was working fine, there were definitely a bunch of things that needed to be updated and all of that, but it was still operating. And so now the website has been updated. It's been moved to a new server. It's got new hosting. Everything was starting to look like we were getting it recovered, and then everything has just crashed again, and we don't know why. And, everybody, I really do believe in going for dreams. I really think that has brought tremendous fulfillment to my life, the pursuit of it, the struggle of it, the ambition, the hopes and the dreams, and the seeing something out there that is calling you towards it, and that gives you drive and ambition and purpose. And I am going to encourage the pursuit of those dreams, hopefully until the day I die. I hope there's never a time where I get so jaded or so discouraged or so derailed that I just throw my arms up and go, well, gave it the old college try. I'm done. I hope that day never comes. Yet I do know that there can be some very frustrating, very discouraging, and just kind of out of the blue derailments and frustrating experiences and unexpected turns of events and mishaps and accidents happen, and discouraging things happen, and a whole lot of life can happen in between where we're at and pursuing our dreams. And I don't know, today I'm just feeling like acknowledging that, and calling that out and doing so just quite frankly and with transparency and honesty, and just being sort of stuck in the middle of this very frustrating disaster that in this case I caused, and in the case of my friends somebody else caused in their life. And so I don't know if I have any advice today, and maybe I'm not in a position to give advice, but I did just want to just express that, man, I'll tell you, it can just be difficult managing just a day to day. And sometimes accidents happen and mishaps happen, and it can just be frustrating, and it can just be a shitty day sometimes. And I think that's okay if you're having a shitty day. We'll get through it, or maybe it's a shitty week or a year or maybe a decade, but just finding a way to push through, trying to maintain positivity, trying to look at problems as needing solutions and not looking at problems as insurmountable excuses to quit or to just embrace some sort of mindset of, well, I don't know, how do I word this? It's just been so frustrating, and it's just brought up all of these really like kind of negative emotions and mindset within me. And when I was starting to look at those, I'm going, man, I wonder why I'm feeling this way about this experience, as opposed to just looking at it as more like, hey, this is what it is. This is the problem. Let's just keep throwing solutions at this thing until it's resolved, and eventually it will be resolved. Whatever that solution is, I don't know yet, but like the world hasn't ended. The sky hasn't fallen. It's just a really crappy situation that's going on, and it's very inconvenient. It's very frustrating. And it has taken a lot of time, energy, and some resources. It's costing money. I mean, it is expensive. It's, it's not a good situation, but, I don't know. What would life be if there were never these situations? What would life be? Would that even be life if it was just, oh my gosh, everything went exactly as intended and as planned, with no setbacks, no discouragement, no frustration, no hardships, no things that take the wind out of you, no things that hit you in the pocketbook or hit you in the emotions or hit you in the psychology? I don't know. I don't know if that life exists for anybody, but I'm just saying there can be some crappy days, and we've got to find a way to pull through and keep moving forward, and finding a path forward even when things feel so frustrating and discouraging and it's just a day or a experience, and man, it just can be so crappy sometimes. So if you're going through one of those, you have my heart, you have my love, and let's keep pushing through. Let's not let ourselves get so discouraged that we give up on our big dreams and what it is that we know that we truly want and what we're seeking, and understand that sometimes it ain't always going to be pretty. All right, my friends, forgive me if today was a little bit more discouraging than usual. I do really try to be overall optimistic, and overall I am optimistic, but I'm doing this daily, and some days are not going to be as good as other days, and I just want to always be transparent with that and not always act like I'm painting everything, rosy colored. All right, friends, that's all for today. I hope you are doing well, that you are having good days and not really drawn out, frustrating, shitty days. And we will check in with you tomorrow. Hopefully tomorrow I will be in a much better mood. I will have had some rest, and I will be able to say that the website is back up and running. All right, everybody. Love you so much, and I will talk to you tomorrow.